Well, thank you all for joining at 8 a.m. Congratulations to all of you for making that happen. Appreciate it very much. I'm Michelle Kent, partner at KPMG, and I focus on consumer and retail transformation. I had the honor to spend the last few years with In-N-Out, and I am excited to talk about leadership because I will say I think in terms of organizations I've worked with, the leadership there is exceptional, and they really lean into it, and it's really special to be able to see that and be a part of it, and a special culture that makes In-N-Out what it is. So that's what we're going to talk about today. What does leadership do? What does it take to lead transformational change? And that's exactly what kind of the journey we went on. So we've got Rob Howards and Madison Myers. Trisha Hastings was supposed to be with us today and is not because she has COVID. So we're glad she's not here. But why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your journey to this point from a career standpoint?
I will start. Madison Myers. I'm a director within our human capital practice at KPMG, and I came into the In-N-Out project a little bit late, actually. So I think they were about a year into the implementation when I came in, and I was serving as the overall HCM leader architect, kind of herding cats, wrangling the troops. I personally have loved In-N-Out for a very, very long time. My grandparents live in Arizona. I've got family in California and originally from Colorado, and they just got one there, a couple of years ago. And so being able to actually do an implementation for them has been really, really special, and something that I, personally invested a lot of money in. And yeah, of course, contributing to the cause. And so when I came in, there was a lot of frustration, not really a clear path of where we were going as a team, I think. And I'm proud that we were able to work together very collaboratively and go live with something that everybody was very happy with. And it's beautiful to see it now and to continue those relationships here at AI World and hopefully many more times in the future.
That's great. I'm Rob. I've been with In-N-Out for 26 years. I started when I was 17 in a store. I think it's kind of the American dream story that In-N-Out has, and that I love about it is being able to grow from, dicing potatoes, cooking burgers, to now being the business VP, which I oversee a lot of different things. IT is one of them, primarily the reason why I'm here, but marketing, customer service, and growth planning, strategic planning, the Tennessee move, all that stuff. A lot of different things kind of right underneath my umbrella, but for the sake of today, I'll wear my IT hat, so Vice President of Technology. I started in technology, and I grew my career from there into other avenues, but I'm doing the short end because I only have 45 minutes, but I'm Rob, and I also love In-N-Out Burger a lot. I can't even count how many burgers I've had, so a lot.
All right, well, so Rob, why don't you set the context for this project? You guys hadn't done anything like this before. It was pretty big. Yeah. What made you decide as a leadership team to do this?
Good question. So we were on RIS, COBOL, homegrown from internal from the 90s till last year. Last year, right? Or was it this year? Oh man, time is flying. Regardless, Stephen, where are you at? Stephen's here. It was this year, I guess. But we were on RIS, so what we're telling our team is we're going from an 8-track to an iPhone in technology terms for the organization. We didn't have an HCM. All of the accounting was being done through that. We have, I think, 20 different verticals at In-N-Out Burger. We do a lot of things in-house, almost everything, from sprinklers to meat. We do it all. We debone the chucks, we patty our own product, we do maintenance, we do HR, we do payroll, of course, IT. I'm trying to think of all the other things, building management, real estate and development. So all those verticals are within that. So we were doing all that through COBOL. I think it's pretty fair to say that we'd outgrown that many years ago. We were still trying our best to make that work, but I think we only had 3 digits to go, and we're like, we're gonna hit 500 stores plus all of our departments. We need to get to a 4th digit, and didn't want to code all that. So it was like, it's time. We need an HCM. We have 40,000 associates. it's time. It's time to give. We couldn't automate some of these things. We're doing a lot of programming in-house, but it's becoming more complex. And we're like, we need a system to do that. That was part of the complexity, was going from, an RIS. We weren't on, or I don't even know what Oracle's was before Fusion. Like, we weren't on any of those things. We were just doing these upgrades. We were going from, like I said, a Motorola flip phone to iOS 26. So that was kind of the journey where we were at. But we knew it was going to be a big challenge, and we needed to do it before. Like, we're going into our 10th state today, or this year. We'll be in Tennessee. We entered our 9th state this year. We're going to hit 450 stores, in the next couple years. That's a lot for us. But again, as we manage and own all of those, remember, we're privately held. There's no franchisees. We own and control all of that, so that kind of helped us to get there. But we know we needed it in order to get to the future of going to more states, headed east. We're going to need a system that can keep up with us on that. So that was kind of the play in that. I will say, my predecessor, our old CFO, he's always like, hey, when I retire, you guys can take that on. And I'm like, oh yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Because I've always heard the horror stories of taking on an ERP. Either the CIO or the CFO gets fired. Knock on wood, we haven't been fired yet, so it's gone well. Thank you.
That's good. That's good.
Very good. It's very good. It's very good.
Well, so along those lines, so you did it.
Yes.
You'd heard all these stories. What surprised you, and what didn't surprise you along the way?
What didn't surprise me was how hard it would be. I think that was we in IT, I think, kind of like built for that. We understood it's going to be very tough. There's a lot of cultural things that we do too. I think I'm missing that piece. A lot of things that are very specific to In-N-Out Burger that Oracle doesn't do, that we're like, no, we like that. Like, we like that we do this. Kind of the saying, and I don't mean to sound so terrible when I say it, is, we're a top tier organization that people love to work for, not because of an HCM. It has nothing to do with technology. Like, we're ranked the 3rd best employer on Glassdoor. We've been in the top 5. I'm bragging about it because I love Lindsay and what she's done with the organization. Like, we're a top 5 best employer, and we've been on RIS, for all that time. So it wasn't the tech that's going to make the company better. It's not that, but it could enable us to continue to be better and bring that stuff on. So what I'm getting at is, I knew it was going to be tough, but we didn't want to lose sight of who we were. Like, we didn't want to lose sight of, we wanted to try to take as much of Oracle that we could provide instead of doing custom development, because that's just easier. There's just too much toil if we don't. So we tried to do as much as that, but it was going to be hard. But what I guess I underestimated was just how hard it would be for other departments. Because I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is gonna be tough. We're gonna have to do this. But I think other departments are like, oh yeah, I understand what tough is, but maybe not as tough as we all kind of figured out. And we kind of got hit in the face pretty quickly of like, oh wow, this really is, there's a lot here that we need to figure out. And we have to rally together. I think that's what you're kind of saying too, is you're coming in like, okay, wow, we just got kind of smacked in the face. Was it Mike Tyson say, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the nose? We got punched in the nose. We had a plan, and we had KPMG, but there was definitely a part of it where it's like, oh wow, this is much harder than we may be ready in IT. And I'm not saying other departments were ready, which is more like, oh, we have to bring everybody along with this. It's going to be a tough journey together. So.
Right.
Yeah, I'll kind of tack
on
that. Yeah.
What were your observations for In-N-Out, and kind of what was maybe different about them and who they are, and some of the things they wanted to do, and what that meant for their journey?
Well, so even when I had first gotten onto the implementation, there was no HRIS team at all. There was no, core HR management group.
It didn't exist.
It didn't exist, and
it was IT.
Yeah, and so that was one transition where it was like, okay, we're already a year into the implementation. We don't have a designated group to actually maintain this and share the responsibility. It's not just all on IT, and it's not just on these HR business partners. And I think the culture of In-N-Out is so unique, and I think as a consultant, I've never felt more like an actual extended employee working with them, and I think that was something that was really beautiful, and it almost made me more passionate, because I'm like, oh, I work here. I want the success of this project. And I think something that was also very different and unique was the executive engagement also. Like, every major implementation, you have your steercos or your opcos where you have like some executive, you show a PowerPoint, you go through it, but it was weekly VP emails. It was engagement from all of the VPs in the room, asking questions, wanting to know what's going on, the hands-on with the associates. Like, you've been working there since you were 17, so you have that passion. And that's very rare, I think, for some organizations, where you always have some leaderships that either they come in as like a replacement, they're like promoted into that from a different organization. Most of the VPs have had their hands-on experience with In-N-Out flipping burgers, dicing potatoes. And I think that makes them more passionate about the success of, associate engagement and for this implementation. So I think for me, that was something that was super unique coming in as a consultant doing an HR transformation, was the commitment and the collaboration and the dedication of this isn't just, a new system, it's a new way of living. It's a new, impact to how they're doing things today. And I think that overall was something that helped. We were blood, sweat, and tears. There was good days, there was really bad days. They always talk about the change curve, right? Like you're happy one day and then you're really, really not the other day. But we all lived it together. The communication was really great, and the transparency that we had at the leadership level, we wanted to make sure that it was there so that we were all successful in the end.
Good. Let's talk about culture a little bit, and I'll share personally, when you interact with a brand and you're like, I love this brand, I love what the organization's about, and then you kind of get under the covers and you're like, I don't know. I will say In-N-Out lives it through and through in everything. And in this project, we definitely saw that how you approached it is how you approach everything, and how you approach kind of the quality aspect and the customer aspect, which is huge. But how, from your perspective as a leader and thinking about how challenging it was, how did you make sure from a day-to-day basis, when there were issues, when there were conflicts, that you were still living the culture? And what are some of the moments that you kind of remember when there were things that came up and that thought process of, here's how we're going to tackle this?
I'll say this. There's associates here right now, and this is just speaking to our culture, that are here to support me. They're going to make fun of me later, but I know they're here to support me, and they're here to support the organization. And they're like, Steven's like, hey, I'm running late, I'm going to be there. And it's like, how cool is that to know that you have a team of people that are like, hey, you're speaking, I want to go check that out, I want to be in support of that. I don't even dare saying family. It's like, we're just like really good friends that we care about each other. And even when it got really tough, and there were times where it's like, it got tough, we would just pull up our bootstraps and kind of get it done. Speaking to what you're saying, I think when it would get challenging is I dare say it, because I don't know if I say dare say it. I want to be careful of saying it, because I don't want to oh yeah, everyone says this, but I think we lived it. Was we'd roll up our sleeves. I was there. You saw me. I was there. Yep. If Mike Moravle, our CFO, Katie Sauls, we were there. If you needed something, Steven could walk into my office right away. We made it important. We made sure that they knew hey, we're here. If you need support, I will confront the things that need to be confronted. I wasn't we're all right, Steven, go take care of this, or hey, Jennifer, go. No. We were in it. And I really do believe, I think they felt our support in that, hey, we're all in this together, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm here, I'm a lifer. I say In-N-Out lifer. I have no plans on leaving this company. I love In-N-Out Burger. We're gonna succeed. We're gonna do it. But that's the people side of it, is just showing up. Hey, how are things going? What's going on? And then feeling and sensing that tension that would take place and go, all right, well, guys, let's get in a room. Let's talk through this. Let's be adults, because there would be this siloing that would happen. Well, they're not doing this and they're not doing that. Okay, we're all humans. We all care about each other. We're all in this for the long haul. Let's get in a room and let's figure that out. It was tough, but I think a lot of it, what I would say, if there's any high-level leaders here, you got to engage. You can't just set it and forget it. The human element is, in my opinion, this is just strictly my opinion, the human element is so much more important than the tech. The tech works. Oracle paid me to say that. They didn't pay me to say that. I'm kidding. But the tech works. It's us as leaders that have to lead through that, because there's so many different things, and we have to unite, with each other. It can't be like the CFO's against me and I'm against the CFO. That will never work. It won't. It just will not work. But we're all united in trying to move this forward and helping to kind of, eliminate some of those landmines. Whether that was one of the big ones was hiring. We were vastly understaffed going into this. You guys both know that. Kim came in halfway through, oh, I'm on the HCM side that's already been implemented. Fun, not already implemented, but close to it. So there was that challenge as well, as hiring, because we were always so much hey, we're just gonna get it done. We're gonna grind through this. We had like 3 people that were working on COBOL, and we were proud of that. Like, oh man, we have to do a bunch of hiring and get people in here to manage the system. So that was part of that too. But just being there, presence. You can't do all this stuff on Teams. You got to get in a conference room and look each other in the eye. If you don't do that, you're going to lose yourself. I guess I've said this a lot, and this is more the people leadership side. I'm going to ramble for a while. Is the human element. You cannot escape that. Like, you cannot escape that connection. You dehumanize each other when you're sitting behind a computer and you're on Teams. It dehumanizes each other. Go, we're accounting, we're IT, we're HR. No, we're in and out. And we need to make sure that we're all in the effort of helping In-N-Out Burger. And that's sometimes what would happen when we get, guys on Classroom 1. And I would tell you guys, we don't work from home. You have to come in. We gave you guys the 3rd floor of our building. KPMG has to be there with us. We're all in this together. And I think that helped a lot of that, humanizing each other to get through those tough times. Really tough. We had some really tough times, but humanizing it was really, really important. You can't just sit behind a computer in Teams, everybody. It doesn't work, in my opinion.
I'm going to bring up a couple tough times that maybe a few people remember.
Steven's going to walk out.
Delays and replan. Would love, maybe Madison, we start with you, of how did that feel different? And I know you and I've had some conversations, feel different because of the leadership aspect, the engagement, the commitment at In-N-Out, especially compared to other places. I mean, a replan and a delay is not necessarily uncommon.
No, I mean, I feel like in most of my implementations, we always end up doing some type of replan or there's always a delay. Just, again, you're either understaffed or there's more scope or, it doesn't matter. And I think with In-N-Out, it was, when I first came in, again, we did like an initial assessment of, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we're, kind of noticing. And I think, again, it just comes down to the full like engagement and cross collaboration from the top down. I mean, I feel like it was very easy to communicate to higher leadership at the executive level and be very transparent and honest of, hey, this is our plan, this is what we see, this is our expertise. And to not feel like scared, like we're gonna get kicked out, we don't wanna be fired, but we had that relationship going into it of, this is what we're seeing because of XYZ, whether it's resourcing constraints, right? That was a big one, just kind of going into it, like you're kind of playing catch up the entire time. You're trying to test, they're trying to do their day jobs while we're still going through, our own implementation, and being able to have that, close relationship, I feel like was instrumental in being able to communicate that, because it wasn't like, hey, yeah, we're gonna try to go live on October of whatever, 2024. When we're like, no, that's not a good idea. We don't think as your partners, and we don't think as, kind of an extension of you, that that's something that makes sense. And I think at the leadership level, the reception was very clear of, we don't want you to just tell us what we wanna hear. Right? We want you to be honest, and we want to know exactly what you need, how you need it, and when you need it by. And that's how we're going to do it together, because, you can talk the talk and you can say, yeah, we can do this in 3 months. And then you're like, no, you absolutely cannot. But what good does that do anybody? Because then in 2 months' time, you're back in the same room having the same conversation, and you've lost trust of your partner and of your peers. And I think when me and Trisha came in, and we were just very transparent of like, listen, these are the things that we can fix. These are the things that we have to, deal with. And this is the timeline that we see. And the reception from the leadership side was, all right, let's make a plan, let's figure it out, and let's stick to it. And the leadership side from the PMO team on, like Stephen was a great, PMO resource to kind of wrangle in the troops on the In-N-Out side of keeping people accountable, right? And making sure that people love to change deadlines. And we have our internal, or what we use, our powered execution suite for managing our project management tasks with Jira. And it's like, well, let's just move the due date out. No, we had a due date for a reason. We want to show that we're late now because we want to be able to track towards getting back on track, right? It's not about pushing a due date. And I remember having this conversation, I think we were in a conference room. I remember it was like with Katie and you and Mike, and you were like, no, if we miss a due date, we miss a due date. And then we're going to
mark it red.
Mark it red.
If it's
right.
red, it's red.
It's red.
Don't tell
right.
me what
exactly.
I think I want to hear.
Stop with these rose-colored glasses. Yes. And so, exactly. And I think that was something that was unique and has helped me in my career also, going into like new projects, of just that transparency and feeling that kind of honest and co-collaboration with companies.
The wonderful thing about In-N-Out is our associates want to do well. Like they really want to do well.
Right.
So when something's red, they automatically go into, as I do, like,
Right.
I don't want to be in trouble. And we had to really kind of culture shift. No one's in trouble. It's not about being in trouble. It's about that it's red. And what do we need to do to make sure that we can get that to yellow or green? Right. And when we're just going, because I remember this, like early on, I'd get a phone call going, hey, they're going to show red. Should we just move it to yellow? Because I don't want no, like leave it red. It's okay. You're not getting fired. Believe me, you're not getting fired. The clarity of this is important. And I know I told you this, Michelle, early on. Like, if you as a partner do want to get fired, lie to me. Like, just tell me, oh yeah, we'll do this in 3 months. Like, because I'm here, I'm involved, and I'm going to be like, hey, you told us, and I'll remember, you told us 3 months, we're not there, and let's be realistic about it. And we knew that we were a little understaffed, that we were going to we were aggressive, but we were also aggressive in the understanding of us as executives. We knew we were going to try to be aggressive, but we also had to understand that we're probably not going to make the October deadline. But if we do, oh my gosh, great, how awesome! But we have other levers we could pull,
right.
At another testing event, at another whatever that is, and then we would push that. But let's try to get after it, because I think for a lot of us who've ever been through this, it takes a toll on you. It took a toll on your guys' team. Like, you're like, I want to go home. I want to go see my family, and you'll be locked up in the 3rd floor. But I think there's that project fatigue, and we want to get after and get it done. But also, just so everyone hears this too, like at In-N-Out, like we also didn't want people working 15 hours a day. We didn't want weekends. We were very clear, and we knew it would cost a little bit, but we want to make sure everybody takes their vacation. We want people to have Christmas off. And you guys remember, we're not going live on 1st of the year because we want people to have their time off. That's not the company we are. We're not going to run and gun and just abuse our associates to get this thing done, knowing it may cost a little bit more. And I'm sure many companies don't do that or would, but that was something that we were very clear to KPMG of is, hey, this is going to be tough for our associates. Let's make sure that we build in some time. They need to be able to see their families. I do not want them here on the weekends if they don't have to. There's always those times where it has to happen, and we do it. But I think, at least for my team, they would trust to know, like, hey, if Rob's asking us to do this, it's because there's really a truly need, because every other time he's been looking out to make sure that we don't, like, we could have 4th of July off. We could have Thanksgiving off. I don't want to do those things on those dates. Like, we're still human beings. We can't lose that element. And that's very important to us at In-N-Out Burger. The system comes second to the humans and to the associates in this project. Customer is always number one. Be very clear about that. I'm talking about in this project, our associates, that was very important to us that we would do that. But having realistic idea of, if it is red, let's call it red.
Right.
We need to call it so we can fix it, so we can confront it. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I hated when it's like, Stephen will remember this, we're early meeting, pass out paper, I use the example all the time, and I look at it and I just crumple it up, and I was being kind of sassy. Were you there?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Okay.
I remember.
I crumpled it up, I said, I guess we're all just gonna lie to each other. Like, oh yeah, we're all ready to go. We're not. Like, I'm like, we're not ready.
Yeah.
HR hasn't hired yet. Accounting hasn't hired. IT, we're still struggling to hire. But there was also a piece, like, we all knew that, after I was being a little sassy, we all knew that, like, okay, we do know that, we're aware of it. We still need to move forward, but we need to go and backfill this. But I let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves that, hey, this is gonna be tough, and if we're red, we fix it. What do we need to do to fix it? That was a really important piece in this project too.
All right, I want to continue on this vein, but I'm going to make a point. So we've done research that says the kind of single most critical success factor for big transformational change is leaders. What leaders do, how they do it, role model, how they make decisions, how they engage. You had mentioned that you guys are number 3 from Glassdoor in terms of employers. You're actually number 2 for best led companies. Oh. Surprise, surprise. But I mean, I think that's a testament to why you were successful and were able to make this work. And leading, and you've talked about some of the things you did from a leadership perspective, but leading a program like this is tough, particularly when you're working with other leaders and cross-functional, to your very first point around kind of what was different in terms of being hard. How did you deal with bringing together those different functions, different leaders, and sometimes when you had different opinions?
Yeah, that's a great question. First and foremost, I think part of the reason for why we're in that category is it truly is Lindsay's vision of the organization, of the people side of it, and it's going to bridge into what I'm going to talk about to answer your question. But people matter more than being a number and all these other things. So the technology always came second. So yeah, there's a lot of disagreements in the room, but I think I'll say this the easiest way, and I hate even talking to us. I'd rather just go give a microphone to one of the associates so they could say, hey, I think this is what was doing that. Because I'm like, oh yeah, we're great leaders. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is because we all care about the company, and I kept saying like, it's not IT, it's not finance, it's not HR, it's In-N-Out Burger. All of us as executives look at it as it's In-N-Out Burger. So yeah, Mike and I might disagree on something, or Katie and I might disagree on something, but we get in a room and we would, was it perfect? Absolutely not. Like there's been plenty of times I know you're in my office going, hey, we need to talk about this. So no, it's not. But we would, at a moment we'd get into a room and go, let's hash this out. Let's figure this out. I mean, think about time where someone's like, hey, we need to have 100 of these reports on Go Live. I'm like, there's no way you're going to get 3 of those reports. We're not doing 100 of these. There's no way. We need to focus on going live. Now, well, we're going to miss it out. Like, okay, cool. What are the workarounds? What are the other things that we can do? How do we pull this forward? But we're not doing that. Like, we just can't. And that's a tough thing to do, is to say, hey, we're not going to be able to deliver those reports. What's going to happen if we don't, or whatever that is? But that's super simple. But the confrontation, and I think confrontation is such an ugly term, and it shouldn't. It's about, hey, I want to hear you, hear me, and now let's figure out what's the best plan of action based on that. Because there's really like 3 leaders leading this. It wasn't one. It wasn't like Lindsay was in there directing all this. No, it was Mike, Katie, and myself. So we would have to work together I'd give a little, Mike would give a little, whatever that is. But I think, again, just goes back to the human element. It's just getting into a room and talking this stuff through was the most important piece of this. But I think deeper than that, deeper than that is we all want In-N-Out Burger to be successful. We've all been there for a very long time. We're not doing this as a project to put something on my LinkedIn to say, I completed an ERP. Do you want to hire me? That's not any of us do. Like, I don't even talk about it on my, it's not even a thing. Like, this is just I don't think you guys said it to us, but like we went live and we're like, cool, next day. And you're like, this is a really big deal. Like, you guys just went live and we're like, oh, cool, that's check, on to the next. We're moving to Tennessee. Like, we're opening Tennessee office. Like, that was the next thing. But because we're all just in it for In-N-Out Burger, not for and I guess that's maybe part of it, the ego of it. Like, we're in it for In-N-Out success. And I think that's what helped it. I would hate to be at a place where it's like, oh, we brought this person in just to roll out an ERP and then they're going to leave afterwards just to check a box or something like that. That would not be fun. So we're all in it together.
Well, I guess it was a good check because nothing fell apart.
No.
It went okay.
If I had wood, I'd knock on it. Yeah. Yeah.
So Madison, in listening to Rob, like all the things he talked about, it almost kind of sounds easy, like, oh yeah, just engage, have conversation.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
But from your perspective, what were the specific tactics that helped make that happen?
Yeah,
for us to be able to have the conversations, them to have the conversations with one another.
I think the first part was our overall governance model. So we had what we called our operating committee, which was kind of like that one step below the executives, which was a very, associate empowerment group, honestly. Like, the executives gave this group of people the power to make decisions on their behalf, unless it was something that, we as a team felt needed to be escalated up to that like steer co-level with the executives, right? So you have these different directors making these decisions for the organization because they felt confident from their leaders that they can walk into Rob's office and, say hi, do whatever, ask him for whatever. And they have that empowerment and confidence to make those decisions. So I think that was like one big thing that we did that really was successful for us as a team, because Rob can't make every decision. Katie can't make every decision. Mike can't make every decision.
You don't want me to.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's not efficient and it's not productive. And so to have associates who feel confident in making decisions on behalf of their organization is, one, really cool to see, because you can see the progression of it too. You can see people a little unclear and unsure, and then you can see the confidence that they have because the leaders give that to them. And then I also think just some of our like cross-collaboration and transparency in reporting up as well. Like I said, I mentioned the VP emails that we did. It was kind of like a cross-team. We would send it to Steven, I think. He'd kind of give his blessing on everything, and then we'd send it right up. And I think our communication as a team on both sides was exemplary in most projects that I've seen personally. And I think that's something that should be carried forward in any implementation, whether it's bringing on a new team, not even just like an HR transformation or a finance transformation, right? It's over communicate so that everybody's aware of exactly what's going on.
All right, so if you were to give leaders who had to do what you've done one piece of advice, what would that? Yeah, just
One piece?
One.
Staff. Have enough staff for this project. Make sure you hire. Underestimated that big time of just the complexity of all that stuff. Well, again, like when you're going from, I'm talking to a team that's like from RIS, 3 programmers programming that, to Oracle, you better hire up, an HCM team and an accounting team, hire. Now, from a leadership perspective is just engage face to face if you can. I know there's probably companies here that are watching or listening to like they were remote work. Sorry, I just don't like remote work because of that. I don't think you can build a culture at home, and that's what In-N-Out's done. If we try to build that culture, and it's the humanization of each other, like knowing that I can go to Kim and Kim can come to my office, or Steven and Nick and all that. They could walk in and we're walking the halls and we're there, and you can feel you're in a conference room and you can sense it. I can always sense it when everybody opens up their iPads when someone's saying something. I'm like, okay, who are you talking to? What just struck a nerve right now?
Yeah.
So and I would go ask, like, okay, I saw this and that, like, but watching for it, like looking for it and being there to care for him too, and being there for him, asking like, hey, how's it going? And really, that's the hard part of leadership, is really working at where you can build trust. And I think we've missed that word a lot in this, is the trust that I have for Nick Spessard, who's our director of IT. Yeah. I trust Nick so much that even if he were to make a decision that I wasn't a fond of, we could talk through it and make that, but I need him to make a decision. Yep. And he's not afraid to. He's not afraid to go, hey, Rob, we're going to do X, Y, Z. Like, no, I need you to move, man. And there's that trust level that helps that. I think that's a big piece that we could have our own panel on, is just the trust of each individual on the team to make the decision to move, because if you're not, you're stuck and then everything turns red. You got to move. You got to keep moving things. And there's a trust, but that's been built up. Nick and I have been working together for 20 plus years, I think. So
That's not possible. You guys aren't old enough.
Yeah, it's crazy. So there's that really deep level of trust that we have with each other. And then it goes all the way down into the IT teams. Like we trust that. I can only speak to the IT side. I know every other leaders would say the exact same thing, but the trust of that is very important. And if you don't have that, it's already set up to do. Right. The heck with not having enough staffing. If you can't trust each other to make decisions and right. Everything has to roll through me to make every decision, we're doomed.
Right.
Like the only things that would roll up to me were like cultural changes. Like, hey, this is going to culturally change. Like, we do 13 periods, but Oracle's like, okay, we need to customize that. We have to do 13 periods. That's very unique to what we do, and we do it on Monday. Whatever those things are, we need to change that. Or, hey, you know what? We're going to change our payroll to do it this way. There's nothing special or unique about why we used to do it that way. It's just the way we did it. Okay, we're going to make that change. Other than that, like roll, let's move. Like let's go through that. I guess, sorry, I don't know what we're doing on time, but there was another thing that came to my mind was, not knowing what you don't know. And that's why we have people like KPMG that can come in. But I felt like we had a good strategy, but I don't think we had the whole strategy because we didn't know. We'd never done this before, like at all. We've all been lifers at In-N-Out Burger. We've all been there. That's why we hired Steven and Kim and others like that brought that expertise in that would help. But I think for me, looking back, I wish I was better prepared strategically to take this on. But everyone can say that about a project. They look back, hindsight's 20/20. But I will say as a leader, just like talk to those who have done it before, make sure they're being honest. Because I've talked to some people like, oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. This is easy. We just went from Oracle 10 to Oracle 12. Well, I don't need to know about that. I'm going from the Stone Age to the future. Like, can you tell me more about that? Tell me about an HCM. I don't even know what that is. But I wish I could have given my team a better, me personally, a better strategy overall of this, but I think everyone could probably say that with a project. So learning that piece too is just really kind of going it with a little bit clearer, bigger strategy than I guess we started off with. It just started off as, hey, we're upgrading RIS to Oracle. It wasn't that simple, but it kind of felt like that now. Yeah, so I think I said 3 things instead of 1.
Yeah, that's okay. You had different categories at least, one in each category. So
it's great.
All right. Kind of one last theme area, and then I'm going to open up for questions. You guys did decide to use a partner through this, and we were lucky enough to be that partner. What worked about that, and what would your advice be to other people who were partners or to other people in KPMG of how you make that relationship work?
It's a tough one. It's tough for me because In-N-Out is so unique. I think you'd see that too. Like we're so unique. It's hard. Even today, it's hard for me to kind of express like I'm in it. Like I'm in the forest trying to explain to you like why In-N-Out's unique and different, all that stuff. But really spending the time up front with your partner to understand your culture of how things work is really important. And you guys captured on that pretty quickly of like, oh, this isn't just like we're running and gunning. There's uniqueness here. There's something else that's here. And then really trying to get the partners to understand like you got to be candid. You have to be honest. Like I just can't stand when partners are just telling me what they think I want to hear because they think, oh, budget's really important. Of course, budget's important. It's important to everybody. But let's be realistic about what that is, so we don't go in there and shoot ourselves in the foot. That was very helpful to have you, Michelle, like in the sending emails like Rob. Being helpful to me, like, hey, there's some blind spots maybe that we should look at. Like, that's helpful to me. Like, I want to know that. Not because you think I'm doing you're like, well, you're a terrible leader, Rob. I never felt that way. It was more of like hey, we may be missing something here. And then I can explain to you too, like, no, we're not. This is just unique to us. We do it this way. But really, it's like a marriage in a sense, like a real quick marriage of like, hey, we need you guys to understand us. We need to kind of understand you, but don't BS us because we're trying to, like, I don't want to be, over-promised and under-delivered on. Like, let's be realistic about it. And as you guys learn, I go, okay, yeah, October may not be the date. We're still going to try, but we all kind of knew. And we weren't going to be, we didn't blame you. We were like, hey, KPMG, you guys made it where we couldn't do October. We kind of were in it together. Yeah. That was a big piece of it. And also, I go back to my strategy of all this. I had to have a partner who's done this. We've never done anything like this before, ever. So that was very important. And we went through a lot of engagements, a lot, because it was that important. Because partners to In-N-Out is a very big deal. Our partners, like who we pick and who we work with, we want to treat them like family. As long as they can, they bring forth the same thing, we're going to have a great partnership and we'll move forward. So you guys were really good at that.
You did treat us like family.
Good, I hope so.
We did.
A lot of burgers.
So many. I'm so sad.
We paid them in burgers. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
That's right.
I wish we could have, actually.
Great margin on those. Well, I want to open it up to all of you to ask questions.
Thanks for going through this. My question is more in the beginning. How did you lead within In-N-Out Burger to build that business case to go from something that's stable in mainframe to say, hey, we're going to move to HCM cloud? How did you get through that? How did you convince the C-suite to take on that project itself?
The good thing is the C-suite we all convinced each other. Like we were all just talking like, hey, Nick Spetzer and the IT team were like, hey, there's just limitations to RIS and what it can do without having to hire an army of programmers. And do we really want to be on COBOL forever? Like, do we want to be on these mainframes, these servers forever, these Linux servers? Like, I don't know. Can it get us to the future of 75,000 associates, 100,000 associates? So as we're going through all of that, we're like, and I truly believe we all do. I think we kicked the can longer than we should have. Like we truly tried to maintain that as long as we could, but we were starting to miss stuff like really a lot of it reporting, like the system of like understanding our associates and customers and all that stuff. Like we're just missing that. It was okay, but we were just missing that. We needed to get into the next generation of like, how do we not hire an army of programmers programming, I think it's 16-bit or 16 different, or I don't even know how colors RIS has, like 5 colors. How do we get into the future so we can, I think we lose a lot, and I'm going to get in trouble with like AI and what automation is. Like AI, okay, I know we're all here listening to it, so I'm probably going to get escorted out. But how do we automate? And we couldn't automate with RIS. Like it was tough. And I think we're now currently in our supply chain rollout, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that automation with a system like this, because we do all of that. We do all of our procurement, we do all of our shipping, we do all of that. So RIS was very limited on what that could do. Truck routing, truck maintenance, like we were like hiring associates just to manually do all that stuff. I think there's a lot of things we can do there to automate. So we just figured we were at a time to take that on. Then COVID hit, and but we were already there, so we just kind of pushed through it. But COVID definitely knocked us on our butts a little bit because we were just in the moment about starting this project, and then boom, got hit by COVID, which is everyone's story for something else. But yeah, so yeah, that helped us. Hope that answered your question. Yeah.
I think building on that too, because this is a lot of, as we talk to the broader organization, your inability to bring on new stores, right?
Because scalability, right?
That was going to be a huge. So you look forward, like we want to be able to grow, but our system is literally not going to let us have the store numbers.
Great point. Not just store numbers. different state taxes. We programmed all of that, like we did, because there's no system to pull off of. Oracle's doing that for us, right? Like they have all 50 states tax code. They have all 50 states, all the different things. And as you guys all know, like things change every 6 months. Like whether it was minimum wage or tax, like all that stuff was changing. We were programming all that, and that's unsustainable. Now as we get into 10 states, trying to keep up on everything legally, and like, oh man, Oracle can just, that's just an update. Click. I mean, I wish it was that easy. Right, Kim? I just like, I wish it was that easy. But really, it isn't us trying to program all that law, all that code, because that's what we were doing. It was a lot. It was unsustainable. It really was, yeah. Have them call me. Have them call me. No. So, great question. The question was like, how do you convince? Because I know they're recording this. How do you convince the C-suite of staffing? So I have to come clean. I looked at the sheet that KPMG had sent me, going, "Hey, you're understaffed by 18 people," and I'm like, "That's bull crap. There's no way we're short by 18 people. There's no way." And I told Nick, and Nick's like, "Rob, I'm like, "No, we're not. Hire 6 or whatever." I don't remember what I said. Like, you're going to hire that many, like whatever that might be. So I was guilty of that too, looking at this, going, number one, how do we hire 18 people and get them into the culture, like all those elements? So if I had a magic wand and I can go back in time, I don't think we needed all 16 of those people in IT. We found out, but other departments needed it, and I needed to be more of a help to those departments, HR, and then to go, you have to hire these. Now, I will say there was a lot of people that came from IT that went into other departments to help kind of do that, but really. Truly, I don't know how else to say, like they need to talk to people that have gone through it. Now, I'm talking about a company that had 3 people, right? And we're going into a truly full-blown ERP, so there had to be a lot of hiring. I don't know about Hyatt if you guys already have an HRIS and an accounting IS and all that. Totally. Yep. And you are. You are understaffed. Take this recording and show them like you are. You just are, like, because we all have day jobs, and we underestimate the day job too. Like, there's still checks that need to get cashed. There's still associate stuff doesn't stop. I mean, we all know that. We're all in it. I know it's tough for that because there's budgets and there's budget restraints and things like that. And it's a tough one to get your CFO to go, yeah, hire 20 people. Totally good, like, but as we got through it, it cost a lot more money to have it cost a lot more money to go to have an extension, a lot more than it will to be staffing any of that. And that's a quick realization for us, is like, we need to hire. But then the issue became, you can't hire that many people that quickly. You can't. So you got to try to do as much as you can up front. So just like I said, send the recording. Like, let them know. Because you are. I guarantee you. Like, if there's a sheet and there's people and you're feeling that, you are in Hyatt, right? Yeah. So yeah. It just sucks going through it when you're not, because you're already building the plane and you're in the air. It sucks. Yeah. It doesn't feel good. Take the time up front. I think like any of us who've done projects, the more you put up front before you start, turning wrenches, the better. And you never can spend enough time in that area, but try to spend as much time as you can in that area. Like that's, yeah.
Start now.
Start now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess them opening the door is the sign that we're right at 8:45. Thank you all for joining. Rob, Madison, thank you so much.